Thank you for tuning in today. I'm excited to be here to share a message with you. Sorry I missed last week. Had some things come up and I wasn't able to film or put the energy behind a message that I would like to. But I'm back this week and I'm excited to be here and I'm excited to get back on into the groove of things and sharing a message with you all. And always, I just want to say thank you so much for continuing to watch and tuning in every week. I really appreciate it and I really appreciate your encouragement. And today we're going to be talking about having faith in Jesus like his mother, Mary. And we're going to be talking about how God is the living water, the only living water. I've talked about this story before, and I'm really big on how God can reveal new things through the same story. So I oftentimes ponder a thought and end up in the same places in the Bible with same stories that I've talked about before, but he reveals a different message to me in them. So I'm going to be talking about when Jesus turned the water into wine, and I have talked about this story in the past, but like I said, he's just revealing more, and I wanted to share what he's revealing to me with you. So we're going to be reading John 2, and that's Jesus turns water into wine. On the third day, a wedding took place in Cana. Sorry if I pronounced the name wrong. In Galilee. Jesus' mother was there, and Jesus and his disciples had also been invited to the wedding. When the wine was gone, Jesus' mother said to him, "They have no more wine." Jesus says, "Woman, why do you involve me?" Jesus replied, "My hour has not yet come." His mother said to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." Nearby stood 6 stone water jars, the kind used by the Jews for ceremonial washing. Jesus said to the servants, "Fill the jars with water." So they filled them to the brim. Then he told them, "Now draw some out and take it to your master of the banquet." They did so. The master of the banquet tasted the water that had been turned into wine. He did not realize where it had come from, though the servants who had drawn the water knew. Then he called the bridegroom aside and said, "Everyone brings out the choice wine first, then the cheaper wine, and after the guests have had too much to drink, but you will have served the best until now." So, obviously, in this, Jesus is turning the water into wine, but the premise is still the same. In these stories, so in this time, and during a wedding, they are big celebrations, so there's multiple days that they're celebrating, and when you're putting on a function like this, you are to provide the wine for these parties. And if you were to run out of something like that, it looks as though that you are unprepared, that you didn't think about it, or you didn't have enough. It just doesn't look good on the people throwing the wedding that they've run out of wine. So Mary, she sees and understands that there's an issue, and she turns to Jesus and says, "They're out of wine." And even though he says, "Woman, it's not my time, why are you asking me?" Mary knew and believed in his abilities to solve the situation, to turn it around, to make it better. Mary had so much faith in her son. She believed in him, and Jesus did it. He gave them wine. He was the only one in the room that would be able to do what he did. And just the way that he is the only person that is able and can provide us with living water. All the cups would have been empty eventually at this party because they didn't have enough to last. They drank it all. Oftentimes in our life, we are left with empty cups. The things we plug into, they end up not fulfilling us anymore. We plug in and they don't charge us up anymore. The people we always run to don't offer the same or don't give us the same impact that they once had. And at the end of the day, the well we drink from dries up and our cups are left empty. And what do we do then if we aren't running and turning to Jesus? We keep plugging in, accepting droplets from anything that anybody would give us. We keep plugging in to anything that even gives us a little tiny spark, but never fanning the flame. Are we asking for too much? Or maybe you find yourself trying to get a bigger cup to spread yourself out so thin so that you're getting the droplets from multiple places at one time. But at the end of the day, you're just left exhausted, tired, ran thin, stretched out from trying everything all at once. And it's just never filling the cup, and it's never satisfying the thirst. But maybe in all of our searching, God meets us at a place. Maybe it's at a party like this, like they're experiencing. Maybe you're at a party and we filled our cup with the last bit of alcohol that they have, trying to drown out all the outside noise just to give us an escape from the reality that we're living in. And Jesus meets us there. Maybe he meets you there and he gives you another option. An option that doesn't require us to keep running back to the keg, running back to the next bottle of wine, running back to get another bottle of alcohol. Maybe he meets you alone at the well, knowing everything about you, yet loving you anyways and giving you another option. Maybe he gives you a life worth living water that doesn't leave you alone, that doesn't leave you thirsty, that doesn't leave you where you are, but loves you as you are, accepting you into his love and offering you another way. God is able to fill your cup. And if you are tired of searching and just getting let down time and time again, tired of plugging in and not being charged, or tired of drinking and still being thirsty, God is the only thing that will fill your cup with water that won't run dry. In this story's case, he was the only one who could fill the jugs with wine when they had run out. The best wine, it says, and they don't run dry. This is what God does for us when he gives us living water. So when he met with the woman at the well, another story that I frequent very often, but God still reveals stuff through, she went thirsty. She went broken. She went tired. And she went feeling a lot of shame for who she was and the life that she lived and being secluded from a normal society. She went thirsty in search of water. She met Jesus there, and he offered her living water. She left without her jugs and ran back to town filled with joy, knowing that someone loves her, and despite all the things that she had been through, he knew those things without having to tell her and loved her anyways, still offering her living water that will sustain her, that will keep her from having to run back when her cup is empty. You have to believe in him the way that Mary did. So it wasn't Jesus's time, but she believed in his ability, and that's why she called upon him. That's why she turned to him. They're out of wine, Jesus. She believed that he would fix the situation even though it wasn't his time, and she believed in his abilities to do so. If we call upon him and believe and have faith in his abilities the way that Mary does, you too can experience a life and drink from the living water and not be thirsty anymore. If we are active the way that the servants were when she said, listen to him, do what he says, and they could fulfill the task with him. That's what we're and he equips us to do so. So when Jesus says, I'm the living water, the way, the truth, the life, no one gets to the Father but through me, believing in that, taking on and believing that with your heart, stepping into a new life, you're able to experience and live and have your cup filled and not have to thirst any longer. But we have to start with believing in him the way that Mary does. And then it becomes following his word the way that the servants did. Living by his commandments the way that all these people in the Bible that wrote these stories, that have experiences with him, that show real, true life change by following, by believing, and having faith in him the way that they do. I want you to experience that today. I want you to know what it feels like to drink from the well of living water, to come to Jesus, to come to his feet, to lay down an old life and to move forward in a new one, so that you don't have to live thirsty or spread too thin or tired or running back to the same old things just to drown out the noise, to get a little relief from a life that's crazy, when there is rest for your soul in the Lord. I'm praying for you this week. I pray and I encourage you to ask God to reveal places in your heart, to shine light on them, that show the areas that you're spread a little thin, or that you're still searching for something to be fulfilled there. If you feel like your flame is a little dim, I ask you to turn to Jesus, to turn to him, sit at his feet, so that you two can work on that together. And if you need anything, if you need to talk about something, please reach out, message somebody. You can message the Farmdale page, reach out to me myself, Pastor Dusty, anybody, or come join us in person if you can. We have services on Wednesday night as well as Sundays. If you need anything, we'd love to see you in person. We'd love to be able to pray with you, to chat with you, to help you in any way that we can, because we're on this journey together. We've all been where each other have been, and we're here to support you and to love you, to pray over you, or anything that you need. So as always, if we can't see you in person, we'll see you here next week. Thanks. Bye.